Welcome to ManTherapy. ManTherapy. Welcome to ManTherapy.
Welcome into ManTherapy, episode number 27. Do a little housekeeping first. Instead of letting you know where to contact us at the end of the show, we're going to start because I'm just guessing that a lot of you might jump off the show or listen to the whole show because we're complete idiots, but who cares? So look us up
have fun
at ManTherapy Podcast at gmail.com if you want to send us a comment about the show or any of the other shows, show ideas, whatever. Look us up on Facebook, Twitter at ManTherapy Pod, Instagram, and that other. Keep up watching for new episodes and just random stuff that we post. We haven't posted a lot lately, but we're getting there. So with that said, welcome to episode number 27. It's crazy that we've been doing this since last November, and it feels like it's insane. So we've probably been doing this for half a year, and
well, bud, 6 months is half a year.
Yes, that is 6 months. You are correct, sir.
Look, we may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy this.
Are we anyone's cup of tea?
I don't know.
We might be the accidental Dr. Pepper bottle that turned out to be dip spit, when you pick it up, but whichever.
Or the Taco Bell cup that somebody drank.
That somebody stuffed napkins down in.
Oh,
happens.
man.
It happens. I did that to a Pepsi bottle one time. I didn't finish drinking my Pepsi, and I had another one sitting right there beside it. No, I was drinking one, and I had a dip in, and I had fell asleep, and I woke up, and I guess I had spit it out in the bottle when I woke up to go back to sleep. And then I woke up again and I was thirsty and I forgot that I had spit in my Pepsi bottle.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
I've
had two drinks sit beside me before, a bottle for spitting in and a bottle to, just drink. And I just got done dipping, and I wasn't paying attention, and I grabbed the wrong bottle. And it was just like immediate, and it was just like
gag reflex.
Oh God, man! I remember seeing our friend Lee took my Taco Bell cup one time and took a big old swig, and
yeah. That was me, you, and him. We went to Taco Bell, and we came back.
I've never dipped I've never, luckily I haven't taken a swig of a Taco Bell cup or dip spit.
Good for you.
But I remember in Scottsboro, Alabama, I can't remember the age, but I was a youngster, a nice youngster, went to King Caldwell Park and was drinking a Dr. Pepper, set the Dr. Pepper down on a picnic table and went to I was young enough to be playing on the playground, so I went over and started playing on their wooden play sets there, and then I came back and took a swig of the Dr. Pepper, and I swear there was a bee in it, and I opened my mouth and it flew out. I almost swallowed the dang bee. And and I spit it out, and it was like, so don't leave your sugary drinks sitting out.
Did you get any superpowers or anything like that?
I wish I had, it would have really been the bee's knees there. So, but no.
That just gave me chills. That just gave me chills all up and down my spine. Like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like those insects. One time I was at a restaurant and went up to the door as one of those handles that go across the door, and and I went and I put my hand up under the handle like normal people do, and there was a wasp sitting on the other side and stung the crap out of my finger. So these stealth stinger insects are like out to get me for some reason.
That's insane. Going back to the playground, I'm a firm believer if you've never had your ass burnt on a metal slide, you didn't have a childhood.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That's nice.
If you've never received 3rd-degree burns on the back of your legs from a metal slide, you did not have a childhood.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, dude, listen. Back in the day, after church, we used to go to Burger King in Rainsville, right?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And pretty much the employees there, like, some of them we knew and stuff like that, like Chris, Dupree, and like none of them ever cared like what we did and everything in there. Yeah, I mean, like we'd go out to the little playground area back when they had a playground,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd slide down the slide with the trays.
Dude, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I about jacked myself up with that.
That is incredible right there. Dude, you would get so much more speed.
Oh, you would.
Yeah.
You really would. You go flying through there, and then
Is it like Clark Griswold greasing the
absolutely
pan, greasing the pan down?
Oh,
take off with a streak of lightning or light.
We started going down through there with like 2 at a time, like a girl in front, and we'd be on the back, and oh my god.
So play sets story. Wife's probably going to kill me, but I haven't told it. I've been saving it, so might as well just get it out of the way.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Wife had a doctor's appointment she had a doctor's appointment by herself, and this was back when we only had one child, our oldest, and anyways, I was at work and she had an appointment, and so she took our oldest with her, and so they stopped by Chick-fil-A there, and it's on Whitesburg Drive in Huntsville, Alabama, and they had a before they renovated, and they got rid of their play place actually, which is such a shame. But anyways, so it was had the play place. My wife had stopped by there before she was going to the doctor, and so she takes my oldest. He was then pretty young, out back to play, and so it's pretty big. There's a bunch of housewife moms out there sitting eating with their kids, and it's quite crowded. And so anyways, our oldest goes and starts playing, and so he's been playing for a while, and then in just a few minutes he comes up to my wife and is like Mommy, I had diarrhea. And yeah, and so and this was like no diaper, nothing. So it's like it's running down his leg, and he had been inside the play area when he had this explosion from his orifice, and started going down his leg. And so he comes up, and so my wife immediately panics. Like she absolutely panics. Like she's like, what in the heck? And she said that a little girl came down the slide, or I don't know if she came, but she came out, and she's like, Mommy, it smells awful in there. So
oh no!
My wife tucked her tail, grabbed him, and ran and got the heck out of there. And put down a grocery bag in his seat, and had to call, and had no change of clothes, had no anything. She was so embarrassed that she ran, and she's going to kill me for that. But I mean, I would have been embarrassed if my kid just just shizzed everywhere. And so she had to call and cancel her doctor's appointment, and they went home, and she calls me freaking out, and I was dying laughing.
I mean, it's a normal bodily function. How old was he?
Gosh, he was old enough to be out of diapers. It might have been 4 or 5, somewhere in there. He wasn't that old.
Look, if that diarrhea pain hits you, that's a different kind of.
Yeah.
You're at a critical mass where your countdown's already began. Like by the time it hits you, your countdown has been going.
Yeah, he was like, "Mommy, I had dawiwa," and it's just, it was. I felt bad for him, but just the whole predicament of like. I probably would have tucked and run too. Just like, okay, we got to get the heck out of Dodge before they start linking 2 and 2 together. Like, yeah. So,
yep, we got to go.
We got to go. So if you have comments, email us at mantherapypodcast@gmail.com. Look us up on social media, ManTherapyPod. Also, it's good to, I didn't even do introductions. We've got Mike back with us he's been out for the past several weeks. It's good to have him back. And of course we have Jeff. So welcome y'all to the show. I've probably figured that out by now, but they're here. So
I am here. Jeff is here.
Yeah. So
Matt is here.
Yep. So anyways, so I do have jokes. I've got jokes, but we're going to get into our kind of first topics. I'm going to kind of, it's of course, with everything going on, I'm just going to drop all the stuff that happened and then we'll talk about it. And I do have jokes to kind of lighten the mood in there in between. So it's all this craziness that's happened, but, anyways, I'm glad you guys are back, and I'm ready to do the show. So let's get into it, and
let's do it.
Let's get the stuff kind of out of the way. So I'm just gonna bomb. So there have been huge things happen in the world. These things are one is the Roe versus Wade was overturned. Then we have the New York's gun rights bill overturned, expanding gun rights across the nation. Gun safety bill signed by Biden, and the Supreme Court, I think it was yesterday, sided with a coach that was let go from his school for praying out loud I think he was in the center of a field, and other athletes joined him, and they said that he was trying basically. The school put a case, or he took the school to court for
because they fired him.
And so the Supreme Court sided with that. So those are the big issues.
Which is pretty wild because, like, I didn't know that had ever stopped.
Yeah, I mean, in the South, I mean, that happens a lot, baseball games, it happens, football games. And it's not like, I mean, and I've never once had like a coach, because we did it when we were in high school. I've never once had a coach come up to me and be like, you get over here and pray now. It was always, they would go to the center, kneel down, and it would be, if you wanted to go over there, you could. And he wasn't, and I think this case he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and you forgot one, Pat. I think we briefly discussed it the other night. Me and you was just talking, but they ruled in Maine for.
Is this today?
No, this was the other day.
Okay.
For it's kind of like a school choice thing for Maine.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
If there's not a school in your district or whatever, that the state will pay for you to go to pretty much any school you choose privately. And they were trying to get it to where you couldn't do it if it was a religious affiliated school.
Oh, yeah. And they couldn't use taxpayer money to go to a religious school.
Yes, but they can.
Yeah, so they I guess they rolled.
That was another huge win too.
And I mean, along the lines of that, I know Arizona has they've passed a school choice law that was like one of the first in the nation that says that the money follows the student rather than the institution. So, if they don't like the school that they're going to, that money, which I think it's $7,000 per student, can follow you to whichever school you choose to go to. So, you kind of feel that tax money, is being is following for the student rather than following the district that you live in, even if you have a horrible school that you live in.
Right.
So that's one thing that's happened too. So, but in that note, there are several things we can go back and the Roe versus Wade seems to be one of the most controversial things that happened, and with that's going on in the country. And it was overturned. It's basically they said that it wasn't a right, a human right in the Constitution, and so that now sends it back to the states for their legislatures elected by the people to make the laws. And there were a lot of them that are being triggered, or that they had set up to say if it was overturned that it would come in. And so this is a thing. And yeah. So we all have different things. I personally am happy for it. It was a lot of people were happy. I personally think that it will save lives, but I do think it will introduce chaos into states, and especially with these very rare and crazy cases, that there will be a lot of unknowns because of this being overturned, or the Supreme Court basically saying, let your states decide. Mm-hmm. And I personally think that is good, but initially it's going to be, it's going to be chaos, in my opinion. And that's just, and I think they got it right, because I think that it should be states' rights, because I don't think that the federal government at its level should be imposing things like that on a population like here in Alabama that is clearly would vote against it. But it's so gray and so nuanced that you have to kind of sit down and discuss it, rather than I don't agree with an all-out ban. That's me personally.
Okay. So, like, what is your thought?
My thought is, like, it's debatable. I mean, it most definitely second and third trimesters, I do not think that there should be abortions performed in that. I do not. The first trimester is the one that's up for debate. It's the one that where, baby can feel pain, the heartbeat. I know the heartbeat's around 6 weeks. I personally would not be able to personally end a heartbeat, or knowing that baby is healthy, that he is going to grow into a human being. That would be really hard. But the craziness that it's going to be, and the only argument that I have for being having like a federal abortion law and everybody having an agreement on it, is that you're going to have different laws in different states, and you might have all out bans, and that if you all out ban it, then you have to address the rape, the incest, the crazy cases that it's like a 10-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls being pregnant, stuff like that. You have to address that. But life is life, and it's worth being protected. But especially since some of those crazy cases are a very, very tiny percentage of all abortions, and it's
it is.
Yeah, man, it's a touchy subject. It's gray.
It is a touchy subject.
Yeah.
Wow. I personally, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough on, my opinion is the first trimester. I mean, like I said, I don't believe in abortion either. And I mean, like, I even had a debate in high school with a high school teacher that, she was talking about abortion in class and everything. And, I was very passionate about it. And she was talking about how, if you could prevent, a child born with disabilities, da 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 da. And I'm like, well, hold on, I mentioned a boy that was just a class younger. I said, so you're saying Tim doesn't have a right to live? And, she shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, like,
yeah,
I don't, I still fall under,
and like,
not
yeah.
for abortion. Like I have some issues with maybe how, I guess just lay it out there is I feel like, taking away the choice isn't right in a way. But I mean, like, I also don't believe, late term abortions, are right either,
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it.
And see, that's what I think most people feel like you, Mike. Like most people are like, man, these second and third late term abortions, most people do not agree with that. Like, I think the polling shows that most people don't agree with that. It's just those.
And I don't even agree with, I mean, I guess I don't know.
So what?
It's tough, man. Like, I mean, because I get those cases of, a child being raped by a family member or someone, a child being raped, period, or even a person being raped. Like, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm. And but like even
it's
if
also very complicated with people, unwed mothers, not.
Mm-hmm.
Not being prepared to take care of a child. I mean, which kind of also at the same time kind of puts in, my mind, like, we had the Plan B pill.
Yeah. See, I don't.
So it's like I don't know. Like,
well, the thing,
I guess I just feel weird about.
And conception doesn't happen till like between 10 and 14 days. I mean,
right.
It doesn't really like like they don't, the fertilized, but it's not like conceived. And I mean, I freaking, the egg, the baby goes into, I'm butchering this right now, but, but it's the conception doesn't happen till then. So like we've got so many things of Plan B, contraception, but like in the cases of like rape, and especially for kids. And when it happens, it's usually like a family member, and it's usually somebody that, they're close to and that they hide. And so if you got like a 10-year-old girl coming into the hospital, but at the same time, like she's in her third trimester, I don't agree with aborting that baby. I agree with that baby should be found a home. And if we're going to ban this, then these politicians and these people have to step up to the plate. They have to make it easier for adoption to happen, which there are more than enough people waiting for adoption in this country. They really are. And stop charging so damn much money to adopt a child. Why are we? It feels like we're going to a child store.
All right, so let me hit y'all with some stats first. All right, so in 2004, they did an anonymous survey of 1,200 people that had abortions. So you can probably fluctuate you know, like a point, like a 10th% higher or lower, you know, just because of the time frame. And then I'll go to another one right after this. So in 2004, the victim of rape, the percentage was less than 0.5%. Fetal health problems, 3%. Physical health problems, 4%. Would interfere with education or career, 4%. Not mature enough, 7%. Don't want to be a single mother, 8%. Done having children, 19%. Can't afford a baby, 23%. Not ready for a child, 25%. And other was 6%. That's like out of a random survey. Now in the state of Florida, they record a reason for every abortion. In 2020, there were 74,868 abortions in Florida. All right, so now here's their reasons and percentages. All right. The pregnancy resulted from an incestuous relationship, 0.01%. The woman was raped, 0.15%. The woman's life was endangered, 0.2%. There was a serious fetal abnormality, 0.9%. The woman's physical health was threatened by the pregnancy, 1.5%. The woman's psychological health was threatened by the pregnancy, 1.8%. The woman aborted for social or economic reasons, 20.4%. No reason given, 74.9%.
Yeah. So how this all started was that.
So the no reason given, though, like there's a lot of ambiguity in that.
There is, but if you base it off of the percentages that was given, I mean, you know, pretty much the woman for social economic reasons is going to weigh out. I'm sure. Just going on. But I mean, I get it. I do. And the thing is like when I was talking with Pat, you know, one of the podcasts you weren't on, you know, my views have changed over time. I used to not have an opinion on it. Didn't care one way or another, you know? And and then everything changed with me when I heard the heartbeat.
See, that leaves me, this kind of like, I had a few questions and a few interesting facts that I found. And this is, I'm just going to ask a question. I don't mean to interrupt you, Jeff, but it was, that I read an interesting point the other day, and it kind of asked a question. It was like, has the advancement in technology and ultrasounds and things like that, like 3D ultrasounds, like that you can basically see the baby and see the features. Do you think that in itself has changed some people's minds about abortion?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
because you can see it. You know, you can see the fingers, you can see the facial structure, you can see the nose, the mouth, the eyes, the toes, you know, you can see it all. So like it puts it more in your face and you're like, wow, this is a person. Yeah.
Because back when Roe versus Wade was passed in the 70s, was it 78 or somewhere? It's because it's been close. It's been like 49 to 50 years. So it was early 70s then.
It was 49 years.
Yeah. So, so back then this technology wasn't as good. It wasn't around, and it wasn't able, you know, you weren't able to see the baby with clarity. And in today's
1973, Pat.
Yeah, in today's society, the it's you can start seeing we can track through science and through technology the total development of a baby from conception all the way up to, of course, when it was born. And I think technology has had a impact against abortion, and because people are actually being able to see, that it is a human being. It is a life in there. And I think that has had an impact. But there's also something else interesting that also read I watched a video from Breaking Points, and they had brought out this interesting data point that the tech privacy and data concerns that the overturning of Roe versus Wade may cause. Apparently, there are tons of females use period tracker apps to track their periods and things like that. I know my wife does, but I think one of the largest apps, the most used app on the App Store is Stardust Period Tracker. And they basically, I don't know if it was Vice or was it Motherland, and they might be on, but they went and asked these companies if they would hand over this data to the authorities in states that that might have a just all out abortion ban law. That right there is crazy to me. And that being able to see and track the data and when somebody is pregnant, and they would be able to tell, and with your location data on your phone, that you went out of state to maybe get an abortion. This stuff that's crazy to me. And that's
it's crazy to me that anyone would be prosecuted for that.
Yeah, and there are people.
I mean, that right there, that pisses me off.
But I mean
we listen. I mean, and I guess it's a fact of you can't legalize, morality, on people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I mean, if your morals is, abortion is, you're pro-life and you're a pro-life state, for somebody that you cannot, I don't know, it just blows my mind that anyone would try, that any state would try to prosecute someone. And even go to these links of, these period trackers. And
I don't think it's this was just a question that they brought up about the data privacy issues of it that they brought up because I
feel like there was somebody in Louisiana. I feel like there was a case in Louisiana where a woman had been arrested because she went out of state to go get an abortion.
Mm-hmm. But I don't.
But that wouldn't be illegal anyway.
Because you can just buy this data. It's insane. Why is it you can just buy this location data and it be subpoenaed and people use it in this case. I believe firmly that abortion is murder. I absolutely believe that. And I know there has been talk about having laws trying to keep people from going to other states to have this done if you are a resident of that state. And I don't know if that would even be constitutional.
That's the thing is it shouldn't be. It you can't take everyone's choices away from them. Otherwise we're living in, damn Handmaid's Tale,
Yeah.
For real.
But then you were actually trying to have babies. Anyways, sorry.
But all right, so I get that.
Well,
but then you gotta so then you're saying the baby don't have a choice though, right? So it's kind of I know what you're saying. I'm not throwing that at you. I'm just saying I'm trying to play devil's advocate on this right here. I get.
However,
I don't think you should be able to pay. I think the limit should be, should just go to abortion clinics within a state. It should not extend beyond that. And I mean, like that. It just seems absurd that. I mean, I'm not. I mean, like I said, I support life, but I mean, like taking away a full choice like that from somebody that absolutely, is set on having an abortion. I mean, like, I don't know. To me, it just seems like you're going to end up with, I don't know.
I am on the side of
People with no choices, and making desperate choices on that end, and it becoming more brutal.
Yeah. All right. So, and then this is also where I fall in this. It's not just the woman's DNA.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
So
yeah, I know that's tough.
So if they, because here's the thing, if the woman didn't want to have anything to do with the father or whatever, which is not a lot of the times. Most of the time it's just a deadbeat dad who runs away. But there are those small times where the mom just don't want to have it. But like, so you're taking their voice away as well, because it's not just part of that mom or that woman. It's also a part of the dad or the person who helped procreate the baby.
I mean, you're not wrong on that, and I don't know. I mean, it's so complicated in that aspect. I mean, like,
because if the woman had the baby
honestly,
and the
like,
dad wasn't in the picture, they would be required to pay child support.
Well, I remember back in the day, Brock had a friend that he had to go console because the mother went and had an abortion, and the guy was tore up about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get that aspect too. I mean, and a lot of, I mean, you have your extremes on both sides.
Yeah.
And then you have, some of us that fall in the middle, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
I don't know.
And then you have the I guess the case of what about corporations within a state where abortion is outlawed giving people money in that state to go and get an abortion in another state?
Yeah.
So that there would be more, I think, more regulatable than it would be of keeping a person from going out of state. So I
mean, basically, they're taking the money that you give them for purchases in their stores or their amusement parks or whatever, and funding it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's where.
And let's be honest, like some of these corporations, I mean, there is a financial incentive to have a person have an abortion and be back to work within the next few days, and instead of paying for maternity leave, paternity leave, and all of that, there is a financial incentive. And
one of my favorite sporting goods places was the first to jump out there on the bandwagon, man.
Which is funny because
because of the name. So, and let me go through this real quick, because this is a biggie, and this is what I've heard several people say. Keep your religion out of my uterus. What happened about separation of church and state? First off, there's no mention of separation in church and state in the Constitution. What the Constitution says is Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, which means the government cannot create a religion to force on the people, and people have a freedom to express their religion. The whole idea of it was a letter between Thomas Jefferson and the Danbury Baptist Church in 1802. That's what the whole thing was. And that's just the whole argument. That's a lot of the argument I've been hearing was, what happened to separation of church and state? Will you show me in the Constitution where it is? And that you can't. They'll go to the First Amendment, but they're taking it and putting it how they want it, not how it's read.
Well,
and what it was meant for.
But at the same time, I mean,
I think a lot of purists like that believe that it wasn't, that the whole letter from Thomas Jefferson was intended, because I mean the Constitution clearly says that the government can't like force religion on you or establish its own religion. So I don't think that it was written for the government to stay out of religion, but not for religious institutions to be allowed in public offices or things like that.
Yeah. Well, what it was meant for is to keep the government out of religion, not to keep religion out of government.
Here's my thing is, I will say that I think I heard the statistic today. I believe it was 54% were in favor of Roe versus Wade being overturned, and then the rest.
I think that was not being overturned, right? I think it was not. It wasn't not being overturned.
54.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a majority of people disagree with with late term abortions and stuff like that. That I think that's how it swaps.
Right.
But I think they got it right personally. Like, because this was another question that I had, and I think it goes into what you were about to say, Mike, is like, has the Supreme Court gone like rogue? Because there have been a lot of like, is returning the decision to the states, like, is that going backwards? And is it because
that's a good question.
Because I mean, if you live in California and this affects you in no way whatsoever, it affects you no way. It's just people like that. People that believe in full-term abortion in Alabama will be affected, because a majority of people in Alabama, they think it's wrong. They think it's murder, and it's just that these.
I think it's going to make. I think you had a point earlier about saying how it's going to make it very nuanced and complicated, and it kind of circles back around to our argument our discussion about, what does it mean for someone to go out of state to have an abortion?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you really do have to. I feel like there still needs to be protection for people that do that. I mean, like, and I mean, even though I disagree, with,
yeah,
abortion to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I personally, I'm a white male. I mean, like, so I mean, like, we're all three white males in discussing this, and I know that, for women it's a very different discussion, because they feel like their right to choose has been taken away.
Well, absolutely that, but I did see some data where in polling on social media that I saw where that when they polled that women are actually more likely to disagree with abortion than men are. And I mean that, which kind of surprises me, but I mean, because I guess at the same time it doesn't, because they're the ones that actually feel the kicks. They feel life inside of them, and I get like the women that And I mean, it's just like, I just don't like the whole morality of this. That women need to get an abortion in order to get ahead in life in the business field, because like a baby's going to set you back. I don't like that message. And I said, I do feel that this is going to cause chaos, and there's going to be.
I agree with that. I can agree with that to an extent, but I mean, like, I don't know, man. I don't like forcing, somebody's hand and taking it away from them.
I did get a meme from a friend of mine, and that basically said, it said, you might not like the results of this ruling right now, and then it goes and it says, but in the future, your kids sure will. I mean, and there is data, because Texas basically did a really strict abortion law, and when it went to effect I think was it last year? I can't remember the date, but they had very strict, and it actually shut down some Planned Parenthoods, and their abortion rate dropped dramatically in that state.
I want to say either Missouri has an absolute no abortion that they've already put into play. I think it's Missouri. I could be wrong, but see, that's what it is.
I don't know, and surely they have some exceptions in there for miscarriages and stuff. Like, people are talking like that's a straight up lie, because like a miscarriage is not the removing of life, or these other like medical issues that people like. Is it ectopic pregnancy? Please forgive me for butchering that, but some of those things, those are not the actual removal. Those are medical procedures, and the baby is already passed away. So
right.
I mean, let's go back.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk.
No, go ahead, man.
Well, okay, so like, and I haven't been able to keep up because life has been crazy for the past couple weeks, but there's a lot of people also concerned about birth control and being taken away and stuff like that, like because I believe that wasn't there one of the Supreme Court justices that said that they wanted to
revisit contraception and the gay marriage thing.
Well, the only reason they said that was because they based it off of the 14th Amendment, and and they're not saying that they want to overturn them. They just said revisit them to, I forgot how he worded it, but it was.
But he's a very conservative, like ultra conservative justice.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't say, because they're all talking about, they're going to come after interracial marriage later, and then all of this.
Oh yeah.
But he's a black man married to a white woman. What sense would that make for him to do that?
Well, I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm just saying, like, people are open arms about nothing right now.
But like,
right, I feel like that is. Some people have legitimate,
but my argument for this,
and I think that's extreme, and I don't think it would happen.
But see, that's the thing, Mike. That's the thing, that this is not law. These are court cases in which they had the court, and under, like, I can't remember what amendment it said. It's the woman's right to privacy was how Roe on shaky ground got passed in the first place for the past 50 years. And what the Supreme Court was saying, and what some media, I've seen it going very hyperbole on both sides, but this side were basically telling their supporters that, they're going to they're going to outlaw gay marriage, they're going to outlaw contraception. Basically, what they're saying, not that they're saying it's not with abortion, it's not a right, but what they're saying is leave it up to the states, not give the federal government as much power. They're not, the one side is clearly saying they want to ban it because we're handmaid tale crazy religious people. No, it's just saying that let the people in the state that they reside in vote, or their legislatures enact laws.
Yeah. Well, what's hilarious?
But at the same time, I mean, like, hopefully there are no states that would actually ban, gay marriage or ban, birth control or anything like that. That's just asinine.
I think that there's a 0% chance of that ever happening.
But I do think that should be state law and not federal law. Like, I don't think that there's anything in the Constitution says you have to have a right to contraception. I mean, but a state law, I mean, they would be, I honestly think that they would be absolute idiots to overturn, or the states make laws that prevent that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's my thing too. This is where a lot of people get, and how this woman gets left out, I do not know. Margaret Sanger. She's the one who started with Planned Parenthood in the early 1930s.
Yeah, she's got some racist, shady stuff going on. And
absolutely.
She said.
Do you know where she set up the majority of her clinics? The low income, impoverished areas. She didn't. The woman was pure evil. She really was.
Can I ask something about her?
Yeah.
Wasn't she like also part of like when the government was sneaking sterilization to people? Wasn't she part of that?
Yes, she's in eugenics. Sterilization was one of her.
I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, she was definitely high on that. And another thing is, and this is where it kind of baffles me. People are like telling the government to stay out of their uteruses and whatnot. What they don't understand is the government. The Supreme Court justice took it out of the government's hands and gave it back to the people, because in essence, each state, their people are the ones who vote for their representatives, their governors, their mayors, for those states. So.
And this is exactly how it was back before 1973. I mean, it was state laws, and the Roe versus Wade took it out of the people in each state's hands to enact their laws and what those people believe are right for it to be a law, and they took it out of their hands. And now, at 50 years later, it's back in the state's hands. And there were, like Alabama, there were a lot of laws already on the book that were in reference to abortion that are now active. And they also had trigger laws, which several states, I think it's like 26 states now have laws that restrict it. And if not all the way, but this whole thing started, guys. This whole thing started was because Mississippi, that in Mississippi, they in a medical, this is what directly from the Supreme Court ruling was like, in a medical emergency or in case of several fetal abnormality, a person shall not intentionally or knowingly perform or induce an abortion of an unborn human being in the probable gestational age of the unborn human being has been determined to be greater than 15 weeks. So it was 15 weeks. And these people were not happy with that. So they sued I think Jackson Women's Health Organization sued the Mississippi Department of Health because it wasn't far enough, because they wanted non-restrictive abortions. And and so they reviewed it, and they stated that they in the Constitution that from their interpretation was not a right as as a federal right. So they sent it back to the states in which they can act the laws, and that's what happened. And so now it's down to the states, and it's kind of the people actually kind of have the power. And I agree that, it kind of, they use the terminology of reproductive rights, of woman's rights, all that kind of things. But it's like a woman's right for what? To decide whether my baby lives or not. And I absolutely and 100% think it's murder. But we can debate about the first trimester, and we can, I personally wouldn't do it, but these crazy cases, they need to be addressed. And it was 15 weeks, and people are saying we're going backwards. Well, a majority of the European nations, it's from 12 to 15 weeks. So it's even.
What's funny. Yeah. What's funny with that is I heard a thing today where, the president of France, or whatever he's called, sent out a tweet, saying how bad he felt for Americans right now, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, and once they put it into this perspective for me, I'm like, why in the world would this dude even open his trap? I think France
probably didn't even realize.
I think France's is like 12 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, it's because, it literally, you have, I think there was a CBS poll done, and I think over 58% of that was the number, but it was like a majority of people didn't even realize that, that it went back to the states. They actually think that this ruling just took away abortion rights altogether, which is absolutely not true.
Right.
Yeah, which is why I think it's hilarious when you see these places, states like California and New York, where everybody's up in arms, burning the cities down and looting. And I'm sitting here thinking, years are either not going to change and stay the same, or you're going to go the extreme one way.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, you're destroying your city just to destroy your city.
Yeah. And
well, you guys about ready to take a coat hanger to this topic and abort it?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. But I would like to say that the AOC has, she's out now saying that to put abortion clinics on federal lands within these states to get around state law. And that's going to be some craziness there if that starts happening.
She reminds me of a wonky-eyed Mr. Ed female version.
I did see where it's like, oh, if they do that, if they come out and they start putting these on lands, it would just be like when a Republican president would just shut them down. It would go back and forth, and it's crazy to me. We've got to come up with a way that we can all see on the same page rather than just be pulled at the seams further and further apart. And this is an issue that really causes this.
You know how we get past this, Pat?
How?
I can tell you right now. You get past this by becoming real men of genius, Pat.
Oh, is that it? Okay? You want to move on to one?
That's how we get past this, by being real men of genius. And
I do have a joke though. I've got a bunch of jokes. I'm sorry, but let's move in. Let's start a joke and then move into real men of genius. Okay.
All right.
Anyways, so Jeff, you will appreciate this. What's the difference between Iron Man and Iron Woman?
I don't know.
One is a superhero. The other is a command. Oh my God, we're going to get shut down for that.
A minus. I love it.
Wow.
Anyways, so throwback commercials. We have Jeff threw on the in our show notes today. He was like, "What's your favorite Real Men of Genius?" The Bud Light commercial, and
these commercials hold such a dear place in my heart from when I was a teenager. Man, I used to love just listening to the radio and these commercial spots just come on, and I would laugh so hard at these things. I'm just like, the guy who did these was actually a real man of genius, because to think of the stuff that he thought of was hilarious.
The guy's voice is just very memorable, and you would know. So, but anyways, we three on Man Therapy tonight, we picked our favorite one, and we're going to play it for you on the show for you some great entertainment here. We're going to start with Jeff. This is Real Man of Genius, Mr. Push-Up Brawl Inventor. If I can get it going here. Yeah, Mr. Push-Up Brawl Inventor.
Come on.
I know, man.
This is...
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Man of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Push-Up Bra Inventor.
Mr. Push-Up Bra Inventor.
Never before has one man done so much with so little.
Lifting them higher.
From mosquito bites, pickles, and pancakes to melons, mountains, and major league yabos. An engineering feat so brilliant it can only be described as va-va-va-voom. Thanks to you, even a 90-year-old grandmother can go from A to double D in a single bound.
What's your number, Granny?
Oh, my God.
Crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, oh hoister of the Hooter, because when it comes to the bust, you're the best.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
After some technical difficulties, that Jim was amazing. It was an awesome.
What's your number, Granny?
Man, so that...
You know, the one thing that also kind of stood out from that one was yapos. I've never heard them referred to as yapos.
Yeah, I haven't either. We might need to keep...
I'm sure that's a regional thing somewhere.
Yeah. So, Jeff, I think you're on mute. So,
so my favorite part of that whole thing is like, doesn't even have anything to do with the Yabos or the Hooters or whatever. It's when they say va va voom. For some reason, that gets me every time.
Oh, man.
All right, moving on. Mike's favorite is Real Man of Genius, Mr. Edible Underwear Maker.
I feel like this was going to be
Real Men of Genius.
Real Man of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Edible Underwear Maker.
Mr. Edible Underwear Maker.
Your true genius combined two of man's favorite things, panties and food.
I can taste it now.
They're a snack. They're underwear. They're a snack and underwear. Brilliant.
2 treats in one.
Gorgeous grape. Rock my world raspberry. Bodacious banana.
6 flavors.
And nothing says I want you like a man with a mouthful of underpants.
I'm Martin, baby.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Edible Underwear Maker. Because thanks to you, when it comes to panties, extra large means extra yummy.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Extra
Okay,
large.
I love the part where he talks with his mouth full.
Oh my gosh. Extra large.
Mouthful of
Extra
underpants.
Extra yummy.
Oh my gosh. That one was good.
That is so good.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
All right, let's see what Jim Pat has picked.
Mine is Real Man of Genius, Mr. Footlong Hot Dog Inventor.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is the worst.
Man of Genius.
Bud Light salutes you, Mr. Footlong Hot Dog Inventor.
Mr. Footlong Hot Dog Inventor.
When Conventional wisdom said no one could make a hot dog longer than 6 inches. You dared to dream.
Dare to dream.
The crowd cheered your 10-inch wiener. Wait, you said, I can give you 2 more inches. So make it a Bud Light, mister, for giving us all a bigger wiener.
Can't relate.
Oh my gosh, that was like the shortest one, but it was so funny.
It was short, but it was long.
The honorable mention I would like to say for me is the silent gas passer.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I was gonna listen to that one and I forgot.
It's so funny, man.
No, I did listen to the guy that wears his cell phone on the side of his belt.
Cell phone holster, carrier or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Dude, all those they're all gems to me.
We could just make an episode listening to every single one of those, and it would be absolutely hilarious.
And just do our reactions to them. Yeah.
Anyways,
Man, I saw there was like an hour-long video, YouTube video with it.
Well, I mean, what we could, we can discuss it sometime. But yeah, I love the.
So, did you hear that a guy died from a Viagra overdose?
No.
You didn't? Well, they had a really hard time closing the casket.
Nah,
D.
can't relate.
D.
That was a D.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So,
well, we've started grading Pat's dad jokes.
Yeah, they started giving them grades after a few episodes ago.
They're all F's.
I don't know. The Iron Man and Iron Woman was a classic for me.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So, anyways,
even though you would get your ass beat.
Look, I can be tough on the podcast because she's not in here.
Right.
True. Anyways,
well,
we had a really long serious discussion. What do you want to move on to next?
Can we do? All right. So I know I did the Kellogg's, the what was it? The cornflakes one.
Yeah.
Did y'all happen to by chance see the Raggedy Ann doll thing?
About the woman marrying the is it a Brazilian woman?
Yes.
Brazilian woman who fell in love with a rag doll her mother made, reveals they're welcoming a child together after getting married. All right.
Yeah. So, all right. Now, I thought it was.
Well, it's good that,
Did her mom
Andy didn't want to have an abortion.
Well, the thing is like when I first heard the story, I thought it was like a satire, but it's not. Her mom created Marcelo the rag doll, and it was
it's like full size. It's full size.
Yeah. However, after only a few months, she found herself pregnant. But not wanting to have the baby out of wedlock, the pair decided to get married in a ceremony which was attended. This is probably the worst part of this. Attended by 250 people.
I mean, come on.
The face looks drawn on with a Sharpie.
Are you kidding me?
Have you seen the pictures?
Who wouldn't want to see that shit, bro?
Please go look at the pictures. You have to go look at the pictures.
Having spent their week-long honeymoon at a beach house in Rio de Janeiro, the couple waited anxiously until their offspring arrived. She gave birth in just 35 minutes at home with a doctor and nurse on site while live streaming the event to an audience of 200 people.
Oh, my gosh.
Follow that under crazy shit.
There's also a picture of her in a delivery room. It looks like with like scrubs on, like mother's wear, with the baby in her arms.
Yep.
Yep, I see.
Despite living happily as a family, she says she is struggling to pay the bills as the only breadwinner. She also
I mean, the good thing is no one eats food besides her.
I swear to God.
All right, so it says, he is a man I always wanted in my life. Married life with him is wonderful. He doesn't fight with me. He doesn't argue. He just understands me. He is a great and faithful husband. He is such a man, and all women envy him.
So, question.
Listen,
I'm trying to.
This is not real.
I went down a rabbit hole here just recently, watching like some of these TikTok clips of, when they had the My Strange Addiction or whatever it is, like they had some of the things where people were in love with inanimate objects and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife, she actually had sent me one.
She would.
It was this woman. It was this woman that was married to a carnival ride.
Oh.
And like she was sitting down eating dinner with it and everything. And oh my God. And then there was another one where this woman was like straddling a fence and she loved, fence posts. And then there was another woman that was in love with the Eiffel Tower. And she was like straddling a beam up at the top and stuff. It was weird, man. Real weird.
So here's another part that I wanted to read. This is her talking about the doll again. He has so many great qualities, but the only downside is he's lazy. He doesn't work at all, but I'm a warrior and I keep going for us.
Oh my God. So is there, okay, I just want to know.
Wait.
I just want to,
can't, man.
I just want to know if there's not like some Wizard of Oz type person like running around in the background. Like, is he gonna like secretly steal the baby when they're asleep and then replace it with a little slightly bigger doll and they act like it's growing up? Or this is a whole like Forky from Toy Story situation. They wake up and they talk.
It is a whole Toy Story situation.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm about to read that to you as well.
Oh God.
She added, it's true. Marcelo got me pregnant. He didn't take care of himself and he didn't use a condom. He got me pregnant. I took the test. It was positive. I couldn't believe it.
I don't see how, because like he probably would be a little soft.
Listen.
No, I'm not done yet.
She is living in fantasy land.
All right,
like
this is
how does a positive? Why is that the craziest part? Is that it was
just
a positive
here's the deal. Just when you think it can't get any crazier, it does.
Oh no!
All right. Despite the physical impossibility, she claims that it was like a real birth. Seeing the placenta and umbilical cord and the blood made it all real, she said.
Oh boy.
You mean the like
he was here in 30
and syrup?
He was here in 35 minutes. It really upsets me when people say this is fake. It makes me so angry. I'm a woman of character. My father and my mother taught me to be honest, to be a good person, and not to want to take advantage of anything.
Listen.
Oh my God.
I just wonder what happened in these people's lives where they fall in love with inanimate objects like that.
This has got to be, I would watch this show. If there was a reality show, I would watch this. And what are the odds that there's like some of these doctors are like paid actors or something? Like, I don't know. This is crazy.
Oh man, that's
Dude, did you ever watch that movie Lars and the Real Girl?
I have not.
No.
It's Ryan Gosling, and he gets this he's just an awkward guy, and he gets this sex doll, like a lifelike sex doll off the internet. I can't remember exactly how it happens, how it occurs or whatever, but he treats this girl, this sex doll, like a real girl, and people were going along with it and stuff. I mean, it was an awkward as hell movie.
I mean, it's like Weird Science.
Except for She was a computer generated woman. I don't know.
Yeah, there are people detached from reality so much.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just women. I've seen there was a man that was married to his car and said that they did everything that a normal married couple would do. They did everything a married couple would do.
I remember seeing him like underneath his underneath his car and everything.
He had to
and his head is just poking out, and he's kissing the bumper.
I mean, there's only one place he can. There's only one place he can stick it.
Every guy likes kissing the bumper every once in a while.
But it wasn't even like that great of a car either.
No.
I mean, it was just.
He's eventually going to have to go get that exhaust pipe cleaned out, though.
Absolutely.
There might be some dried protein in that tailpipe. I don't know.
Otherwise, every time he goes down the road in his car, he's going to be sprinkling his seed everywhere.
Yeah, I've heard he's been having a hard time because they enacted a noise ordinance in the neighborhood. Anyways.
Go ahead.
Banana in the tailpipe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Yep. Speaking of that, what do you call a gay dinosaur?
I don't know.
Megasaurus.
B plus.
All right. I've got to get off here soon. So, I got to tell y'all this story. I've been saving this for y'all for the podcast.
Oh, I feel special.
Is this the tree story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was it? Was it last week or was it the week before?
It was the week before.
It was, yeah. Man, like I said, the past few weeks have been crazy. So, anyways, we got the warnings and everything coming in on the day and telling us that the big storm's coming in and it's gonna have high winds. And so I take down our canopy tent out of our backyard and put it in our garage, and we're just trying to batten down and everything like that. So I mean, in there, what was coming was actually called a derecho. And I don't know, I had only learned of the term last year. I saw a random video. I can't even remember if it was just on YouTube or if I saw it on the Weather Channel or whatever, the Weather Channel app.
Is that that ESPN channel, the ESPN derecho? Is that?
No,
Nice.
that's the Ocho.
Oh, the Ocho. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad.
But basically, a derecho, and somebody smarter than me may end up, knowing a little bit more. But I mean, it's pretty much almost like a hurricane that comes through. It starts on land and just comes through, blows through really quick, and then it's gone. So
most men can understand that.
Right.
The one I watched the video of one. The one I watched lasted for 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it severe straight line winds? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it looks like a freaking hurricane.
Those things can do so much damage.
The video I watched was super intense, man. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. It really is intense. I mean, even just
camping.
Up the road from us, a F1 tornado had touched down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, how long it went and where, but yeah. But I mean, just the derecho alone was, intense. I mean, there was trees and everything knocked down. So we're sitting downstairs, me and my wife, and we're just kind of waiting for it to come, and just how quickly it came about. all of a sudden, I mean, there was nothing going on. Like, there might have been like some light misting rain or something. Maybe. I don't even think there was anything. And then all of a sudden, like, our power kind of flickered just a little bit, and we're like, oh. And then all of a sudden, it just went off. And then that's when everything kind of just came in, and it was just like, holy crap. You know, I mean, the kids came downstairs and everything, and Misty put them my wife put them in the hallway, and, you know, and I'm just kind of watching and everything like that, because we got a large tree in our yard, both in the front and the back. So, like, I'm going front and back, just like watching, because I'm worried that those, you know, about them falling off the house.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm sitting there watching. I went out, I was looking out the kitchen window, and I noticed, you know, some branches and everything down, which I figured was going to happen anyways. And then during that time, I went to the front, and then there was, you know, branches down, and there was, you know, some on my truck, like, but it only looked like the lighter end, you know, just the leaf parts. So I was thinking, okay, well, that's not that bad. And, you know, I'm watching our other vehicles, and, you know, it's still, I mean, the lightning is intense. Like, it's just flickering. I mean, just crazy, just like strobe light. I mean, just how fast and everything it was going, and the winds were so high. I watched huge ass branch across the street in my neighbor's yard come down, and I mean, I watched it break off, and, you know, the sound was loud, and my wife was in the other room, and she goes, "What was that? What was that?" And I was like, it's just it's the neighbor's tree. I don't think it didn't fall on their house or anything, this big branch. I mean, like, the branches on our trees and their trees, some of those branches are about, I mean, like, the size of, you know, small trees.
Yeah.
So anyways, the winds finally kind of died down, and then all that was left was, you know, it was still kind of mist and rain and stuff like that. But, you know, not as bad. And, you know, I went outside. The lightning was still just strobing the entire time. I mean, it was just crazy. I'd never seen lightning like that ever. And, you know, couldn't tell anything going on, which the branch across the street had also fallen into the street, so it was blocking off even our cars from leaving the driveway. And, you know, my neighbor, you know, to the right of us, he came out, and he does tree work, and he was like, well, you know, should we, you know, kind of start cutting this up and get it out? And I was like, man, honestly, I don't know. I mean, there's supposed to be more storms coming through tonight, and, you know, like, that's probably a city problem right now. You know, I mean, nobody's hurt from it, and it didn't damage their house. So, and then, you know, I was like, I'm not going to do anything in my branch right now. Like, I'm going to go inside and get some sleep, because it was getting late at that point. And then my other neighbors, you know, they were checking on us and everything like that to the left of us. And so anyways, you know, the next day I called off work, and, you know, the other storms that came through weren't as bad. But I mean, it was just a sleepless night. I mean, we had, our power was out for a few days and everything like that. We had to stay with my mother-in-law and my stepfather-in-law. And, so the next day, my father-in-law comes over, and he brings his chainsaw, and then another neighbor had lent us a chainsaw, so I'm out there busting ass, cutting up trees and stuff, and which I noticed that the damage to my truck was actually worse than what I initially had thought. Like, a bigger part had came down on the bed of my truck and put a huge ass dent, in the bed.
Yeah.
On the passenger side. But I mean, that's whatever. So anyways, I gotten about everything cleaned up, but like there's this big branch still kind of halfway hanging, and I mean it had come down, right? Well,
hanging wood is never good.
Yeah. So like I'm clearing out like some of the leaf parts of the branches and everything like that. That way, like I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get this thing down, and I'm thinking about kind of tying something to the back of my truck and pulling it down. But for some crazy reason, the neighbors to the left of us, they were getting their cabinets replaced in their house, and for some reason those guys still made it out to work on their cabinets and everything. yeah, mind blowing. I mean, it's crazy. And so I was like, man, I don't know if I can do that, because like, what if that branch comes down on top of their van or whatever? And so I'm just kind of cutting a little bit here and there, and then I noticed that there's a part where of the branch there that the weight was kind of pushing on, kind of keeping it held up. And I was like, okay. So also what we had been dealing with that day is, because of the power lines being down, from trees falling on power lines, traffic had been rerouted down our street, and it had been busier than usual. Well, I waited until there was nothing coming, and just gonna see what I could do. And I didn't think that thing was gonna come down completely. I had an inkling that it would, but I mean, it had to come down because I was afraid, like, the kids being around and stuff like that, that I mean, it could kill somebody.
Yeah.
So I waited, and I start, chainsawing, and nobody noticed. A car started coming through, right?
Uh-oh.
And so, like, this thing, like, I get it, cut into, and all of a sudden, crack, and I run backwards and everything like that, and I had cut the chainsaw off, and I'm just watching this thing in just slow motion come down. This car's coming through, and it falls on the back glass and back half of this vehicle.
Oh man!
I mean,
oh my God!
It dented the roof.
Oh.
It busted the glass open. I mean, like,
did you do like a secret spy roll into the bushes, a tuck and roll?
No. I was standing out there, and then my neighbor, to the right of us, he had saw it, and he was like, "That's an act of God," right there. Like he said it was going to come down. Like, he said, "I saw it if they say anything." Well, anyways, my mother-in-law had come to pick up my kids, right? And so, like, she's backed up down the street in her car, and with the kids in the car, and this car that I just dropped this huge branch on, it just keeps driving.
What?
And so I'm thinking, oh, dude, I'm not playing. So, like, it drives off down the road, and I'm thinking, like, okay, they're going to go down the street and kind of cut back around, you know, whatever, and, you know, we'll talk it out. Well, my mother-in-law chases them down in her car with my kids, gets him to pull over, and I'm like, Shirley, I'm thinking, no, Nana, no.
What? Let them go.
They're going to go. Just let them
Why?
go. Right. And she's like, sir, like, don't you know a tree branch just fell down on your car? And he goes, oh, I thought I hit something.
Oh my God.
He said, she goes, no, branch fell down on your car. He said, oh, well, I'll get it taken care of, or I'll take care of it or whatever. And he just drives off.
What?
There was a reason why this guy didn't want to stick around.
That wasn't his car, was it?
Oh.
I don't know if it was his car. I think he was probably high. He may have had some drugs in there. I don't know, or drunk, or
he jacked somebody's car.
he may have been so high or drunk that he thought that he hit somebody's vehicle, or he ran over somebody, or ran over a branch. I don't know what he
Oh, my
thought.
sweet baby Jesus.
But dude did not come back at all.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
That's
He
good
just
stuff.
zoomed- like my heart stopped because like I was afraid like maybe there would be a kid in the back seat. Like that was my first thought. Like, oh my God, I hope there's nobody in the back seat.
Yeah.
No, just some dude that did not want to be found out. I don't know if he was leaving the Sneaky Link's house or what, but
Yep. He didn't want to be confronted by any authorities, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you got truly blessed in that area, but I'm hoping that you roundhoused your mother-in-law in the back of the head for two reasons. One, for chasing the guy down with your kids in the car. Two, for chasing the guy down. Period.
right.
Yep.
Right, that's what I said too. I told her, she's just a sweet lady.
I'm just playing, but
I mean, like, seriously though, like,
and look, here's the thing: I probably would have chased him down because I'm a huge advocate in karma, man. I understand.
no,
things.
if he wasn't coming back, like, that's on him.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, like,
Yep.
because I thought he was going to circle the block and come back.
Who knows? I may have done the same thing. I don't know. I've never dropped a tree branch on somebody's car, so.
Well, I've never done it either. So like we my wife's out there like, sweeping up glass and everything like that. I mean, and it's the back glass, so like that glass just shatters and keeps breaking.
That's the thing. Like, how did he not know that his back glass was not there?
Oh man, it was loud. It was loud.
I was like,
I mean, it bounced on his car and bounced onto the road.
be like a Mike drops a tree on a deaf guy and he has no clue.
Right.
You get
And
home
this
and you're
guy-
like, when did that happen?
That's Ohio for you.
Yeah.
And he was not coming back.
Not
He
coming
never
back.
came back.
That's funny.
Never came back.
I'm glad you saved that story for us here on this podcast.
I had to. Like, I've been waiting to tell that to y'all. I mean, like I said, it's been crazy the past few weeks. Like, we, live the majority of the week over at my mother-in-law's house there, and then, you get back here and you're having to take care of stuff still. And I mean, I still got branches down in my backyard that, like I've cut up.
Yeah.
But I was so whipped from, cutting up that big ass branch that fell after I'd already cut up like a million branches and everything. And,
well, right after y'all's, we had one here similar to that knocked a huge hind tree branch. Like, it was the size of a small tree out of the top of one of our trees and pulled power line from our house and stuff. So
did it?
Yeah. We was at the beach when it happened, thankfully, but I had a lot of cleaning up to do when I got back. So.
Oh yeah.
I hate trees. I don't want to talk about it. It's PTSD for me.
Oh man,
I hate them as well.
To build a house one day and not have any trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
In the yard.
I mean, they're like, well, your power bill go up. Yeah, well, at least I won't have no tree laying on the side of my house one day.
Right. I mean, like, if you get good enough insulation in your house, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time to wrap this up with joke rapid fire. And I need y'all to yell out your scores or yell out in pain. Either one, whichever. So I got to go through the rest of my list and let's wrap this up. You ready, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What's the difference? Some of these are very inappropriate and some of these are very offensive. So I apologize beforehand, but I don't. Anyways,
I don't.
What is the difference in a woman and a Happy Meal?
Please tell me this is a sexist joke.
Oh my gosh.
Both come with a toy inside them.
B plus.
B plus there. All right. I got fired from my job because I kept asking my customers whether they would prefer smoking or non-smoking. Apparently, the correct term was cremation or burial.
Oh,
I'll let you take this one.
Is that an?
I give it a B minus.
B minus. I recently joined a premature ejaculation support group. Their first meeting was this week. I didn't know what to wear, so I came in my pants.
I give it an A. I like that one.
Yeah,
that's funny. I'll give you that one. That's funny.
There's not many that I actually like.
That was funny.
All right, I got two more. It said, why did the 9-year-old African kid buy a new sports car?
I don't know.
He was going through a midlife crisis.
No. Oh my God.
So bad.
I'm not grading it.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Why didn't Han Solo enjoy his steak dinner?
He was eating solo.
It was chewy.
Oh no!
I'm giving it an F just because of the Star Wars joke.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's all the jokes I got. Mike got lucky on this podcast.
I got a joke.
Okay, let's hear it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Canada.
Oh my God.
No. Well, you know what they say.
Well,
Hey.
Canada sucks.
Hey.
Oh,
hey,
sorry.
I don't agree with what their government's doing, but Canada is beautiful, and I loved it when I went, to be honest with you.
I didn't say anything about what Canada looked like. I just said it sucked.
Yeah. Well, anyways. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the show. ManTherapy podcast at gmail.com. ManTherapy pod on all of the social medias. Look us up. Please email us. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know that you're offended, unoffended, any topic you want to talk to us about. With that, though, I think we are going to call it a night. What do you think, guys?
Yep. Good night, eh?
Yep, let's abort it.
All right. Well, anyways, see you guys. Hope you have a good one.
Oh yeah.
Good night, eh?
Oh.